Hello, my name is Rachel DALY. I'm a registered nurse currently working as a practice development Admiral Nurse Consultant at Dementia UK. Today I'm presenting my PhD research on shared everyday decisions in care homes. So my research explored everyday decisions in care homes. I was trying to understand and facilitate the involvement of people living with dementia and communication difficulties in the decisions about their everyday life and care in their care homes. One of the reasons that people fear dementia is the loss of control. If we can understand and increase people's involvement in their decisions, it offers the opportunity for greater control over their daily life. The study had two phases. Phase 1 was a review of the literature to find out what is already known about the subject, and following ethical clearance, Phase 2 was a modified 4D cycle of appreciative inquiry created by Cooper Ryder and colleagues. Appreciative inquiry was selected as the participants' involvement in the research process reflects the shared decision-making process itself. The 4 Ds stand for Discover, Dream, Design and Destiny, and in this study the discovery and dream phases were combined. Interview questions were used positive language to seek individuals' perspectives through storytelling. The stories were then used as a basis for participants engaging in dreaming up ideas and designing future practices that aligned with their hopes and wishes. Destiny is the implementation of the ideas and is not discussed here due to time constraints. We do know that almost 500,000 people live in care homes in the United Kingdom. That's more than the entire population of Luxembourg. And about 320,000 of those people are living with dementia and may need support with their everyday decisions about their life and care. However, we don't know much about what the everyday decisions are that are important to people living with dementia in long-term care environments. We don't know what the decisions are, who makes them, and how. In this study, there were 44 participants across 2 care homes in England. 15 of the participants were people living with dementia and communication difficulties, aged between 60 and 97 years old. 24 were care staff, aged between 23 and 59 years, and 4 were family members, aged between 72 and 85. Most of the participants were female, with a ratio of approximately 3 female participants to each male participant in all the groups. They were observed for a total of 72 hours and completed 13 focus groups and 26 interviews in total. They demonstrated that people living with dementia and communication difficulties regularly make and share lots of decisions about their life and care every day in care homes. Even people with more advanced dementia were able to participate in decisions. People living with the effects of dementia were routinely involved and supported in making up to 20 different types of decisions, including when to get up and go to bed, decisions about their personal care, what to wear and how to express themselves, where to spend their time, attending organised activities, and importantly, who to spend time with. There were also a few examples of decisions about interacting with faith leaders and other people who could offer additional or specialist support, such as doctors, podiatrists and hairdressers. Some people with less advanced dementia participated in management decisions about the care homes themselves, including seasonal menu changes and activity programmes. This was facilitated by the managers in both the care homes and implemented to varying degrees by the staff, with one activity manager holding regular meetings with some residents and visiting others individually in their rooms for their input, whilst the other activity manager was less open to being led by the residents. The most common shared decisions were related to food and drink, followed by those related to organised activities. Most people were able to participate in decisions about their food and drink, what to have, when to have it, or where to have it. The level of input from the resident varied enormously, from making binary choices to the person taking complete control of the situation, as we can see in the following example. The carer asks, "Would you like a hot drink?" "No, thank you, dear. Maybe in bed." And then there was a long pause. "Maybe I should go to bed." And another long pause. And then she said, "Can I go to bed now?" So the carer responded, "If you want to." "Yes, please. And I'll have a hot drink in bed." So the carer responded again, "Of course. Here, let me help you into your wheelchair and I'll take you up to your room." "Yes, thank you, dear." What I noticed about this interaction was how the carer focused on the individual and her decision to go to bed. This conversation took place in the lounge at around 9:30 p.m. and demonstrates how the carer gave the lady time to think and respond and change what she was doing in line with the resident's decision to go to bed immediately. Using Thompson's taxonomy of decision-making, extended by Nsumbai et al. 2012, the most common patterns of decision-making were shared decision-making, autonomous decision-making, and non-involvement. Autonomous decisions were often facilitated by care staff clarifying options, manipulating environments, and being clear and concise about what the choices available. Care staff often demonstrated how they communicated choice using visual aids and physical props to compensate for confusion and reduce concentration. Non-involvement in decision-making, where residents were passive recipients of care and treatment, predominantly included a person who was, or was perceived to be, incapable of participating in the decision-making because of the advancement of their dementia or because they were sleeping. Family care partners were less likely to involve their partner living with dementia in an everyday decision than the care staff were. 6 key elements were identified that supported decision-making. Motivational support for a person living with dementia to do something that was considered to be in their best interest or confidence to try something new sat within encouragement. Communication was about tailored multisensory approaches, simplified language, breaking down compound decisions to facilitate decision-making processes. Choices included simplifying by offering only 2 choices or expanding by offering all the available options with relevant information and advisory support based on individual needs. In terms of the environment, care home routines and physical environments were manipulated to facilitate multiple individual preferences and participation in decision-making. I noticed that environmental and sensory challenges were minimised by decluttering spaces and reducing noise and distractions when decisions were required. Enhanced orientation and environmental manipulation also position people as capable of participating in decisions. The decision-making partner proved to be important and was often shaped by the preferences of the person living with dementia and the decision to be made. One of the unexpected outcomes in finding the right person to share the decision with was that the family-type relationships that developed between care staff and people living with dementia. Time and space were provided to facilitate decision-making for people with fluctuating capacity and enable in-the-moment decisions. Given time, it was noted that people regularly changed their mind, which does not appear to be present elsewhere in the literature. Care staff and family members help people living with dementia to make decisions by using clear verbal communication, gestures, motivating them with gentle encouragement, manipulating the environment, and giving the person time. The greatest help with food and drink was stimulating multiple senses, including smell, sight, and touch. Visual cues, such as showing the colour of the drink or the box of the breakfast cereal, and hand gestures were used really widely. Food choices were plated and then both plates shown to the person so that they had a better idea of what they were choosing. The modified 4D cycle of appreciative inquiry methodology was acceptable and an enjoyable experience for the majority of the participants. Most participants living with dementia and communication difficulties were able to actively participate in the research, to tell stories and identify what they would like in terms of everyday shared decision-making practice in the design phase. It was, however, noticed that the participants living with dementia struggled to engage with the abstract nature of the dream phase. In conclusion, the majority of decisions entailed binary choices about food and drink, physical and social activities, and aspects of personal care. Maximising shared everyday decision-making relies on encouragement, person-centred communication, including effective stimulation of multiple senses, offering choices, giving time, maximising the potential of the environment, and identifying an appropriate decision partner. More work is needed to further develop our understanding of how engagement between residents and their staff and family care partners can empower residents in care homes to retain an element of control over their everyday life and care as their dementia progresses. When care staff prioritise residents' involvement in decisions about their life and care, it's possible to challenge routine and advance personalisation. Funding for this programme of study was through the NIHR Applied Research Centre, East of England. I would like to acknowledge the important part played by my supervisors, Professors Frances Bunn and Claire Goodman. And on this final slide, I would like you to notice a couple of references that I have used throughout the presentation. Many thanks for listening.